Free the fart.
Free the fart. Why on earth would somebody ask this?
No brownie left, just mould.
Black mold. Would you like pie for dinner? Well, would you save my baby?
He eroded your patience.
He's eroding my sanity.
Do not ask me that again. That is an inappropriate question.
Yeah, I found that kind of arousing. That was so beautiful.
You're through to 1-800-DRAMA.
The show where you share your biggest dilemmas.
And we help you navigate them.
I'm Shaaba.
And I'm Jamie.
Come join us as we help people figure out if they are the drama.
Because sometimes you just need an outside perspective.
And we can all expand our own mindsets along the way.
Wait, am I the drama? Red flag, green flag, Shaaba.
Hit me.
And this one is from a peach, Spider Queen 1988. Thank you.
Thank you.
Farting in front of a new partner.
I green flag it. I think we need to reduce the stigma
Green flag.
of the gas.
Love a good fart.
Everybody poops.
And farts.
Often everybody farts. And people forget that. Why did that become a thing for there to
Yeah.
be such a stigma around it?
Yeah, I've helped you fart.
That's a weird thing to say.
No, it's not.
What do you mean?
Like I've
you
rubbed
mean
your-
when,
I've rubbed
when
your
I've been
tummy.
Like really, really unwell.
Yeah, I rubbed
you
your
have rubbed
tummy
my
to help your little farts come out.
I'm not saying fart brazenly. I'm not saying be rude about it. I'm not saying fart in their face.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if you've got a little toot,
In the
just be
boot.
like, oh, excuse me, and walk away. Like,
Let
don't
it
be
goot.
afraid to say that you've come back from doing a poop or you need to do a fart.
Yeah.
You know, find it weird the things that we stigmatise.
Free the fart.
Free the fart. All right, Jamie, what's drama?
I'm getting a filling after this. My tooth is getting excavated and refilled and made anew. Some other new things are on the horizon.
Some other things are getting excavated.
I did segue
and
from
made
a
anew.
filling to other things.
That was pretty iconic.
Yeah.
Watch this space. Big change is afoot.
Yeah.
On my channel, though, if I've timed this right, the new weird music video,
Oh my god.
which has been a long time in the coming, actually got a good string of videos for you. We've got this one, and then we also have the Ouija music video dropping around Halloween. So lots to look forward to. I'm very excited to share.
Woo.
All right, are you ready, Jamie, to go fishing? Full
Drama.
as balls. Let's go.
Wee.
My click didn't work.
Oh, well, sucks to be
Look
you.
at that. She's broken.
Too clean. Am I the drama, Shaaba?
Always.
For telling my husband I'd rather save my own son.
Ooh.
Oh, what, like, if they were on a train track each and you had to pull a lever to kill and save one?
If a building was on
Yeah.
fire. I find these weird conversations to have.
It
to be
is really
fair.
weird, but also isn't it very natural that you would save the child?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
If it was that hypothetical situation, yeah.
you saved the little baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been trying to write this out for a couple of days because I truly feel like an awful human being and I have so much trouble putting this into words.
Oh, bless. I mean, I may take that back because you might be an awful human being, but...
It's not nice to see that people are struggling.
Yeah.
This involves me, says OP, a 27-year-old woman, my husband, a 27-year-old man, and my 7-year-old son.
Okay.
My son has a different dad. Oh.
Okay.
Does that change things? No, not
It
in my
shouldn't.
mind. And his dad is completely out of the picture. Me and my husband have been talking about kids for a long time, and about half a year ago, he asked me a question that I have refused to answer.
That's such a weird way to say 6 months ago.
Half a year ago.
Half a year ago.
I like that that's what your brain
Yeah.
clung on to.
Because we don't say I ate 6 months of a baguette.
Why would you say that?
Well, because like I half a year, and you don't say half a year, you say 6 months as a term for it. It's like you say I ate half a sandwich.
Yeah, but you would be saying I ate 6 months of a baguette. No, you would say I ate half a baguette.
Never mind. It works for sandwiches and baguettes. It doesn't work for a year.
Jamie's metaphor moment.
We don't say half a year.
Yeah, you don't say I ate 6 inches of my 12-inch baguette.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. It's opposite.
But you do order a 6-inch at Subway.
Well, they're wrong.
You don't order half a
Well,
foot long.
Subway are wrong.
Anyway, half a year ago, he started asking me a question that I refused to answer, says OP. The question is, if we had a child and you had to choose your son or our child to save, who would you save?
Well, okay, I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
Red flag of a husband that he's asking this question. That is so damn weird.
Okay, this was out of like husband and son, fine. But why on earth would somebody ask this?
Yeah, that's the bad thing. What, why? Okay, I need to hear more.
It's a bit different from time to time, but it's about if we had a child and I was put in a situation where I could only let one of them live, who would it be?
Do you know,
This is disgusting.
I feel like he's got like classic stepdad syndrome, and he's like,
You have to put my child before this other one. My child's more important, and I'm testing you.
that's what it feels like.
It really does. I'm trying to think of any other way. Like the positive brain in me is like, no, surely people are not that I'm trying to think of one way, any way,
Nuh-uh.
that it could be posed any differently, but this is just the biggest arsehole move.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm calling it now. He is quite possibly one of the moldiest brownies I've ever seen.
Yeah, at this
Ew.
point, no brownie left, just mold.
Just mold. Black mold. I refuse to answer this question because it's honestly off-putting and weird. It's just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
There is no answer to it. None. So for 6 months, I have refused to answer, and he can pester me about it for half an hour before he lets it go. Then it can take everything from an hour to a week before he asks it again. Why are you still with this person?
Yeah, no, I was just about to ask that. That is so problematic because I would not be having a child with somebody like this, because you know what his answer is? He would only save the baby, and he would expect you to save your baby with him, not your child from a previous relationship, because he devalues.
Right? Yeah. Either he's viewing it as some form of test of loyalty towards
his
him or his son or his line. If I were in an OP situation, that is what I would be asking. You realise this is a really odd question, right? We're talking about an entire hypothetical, which is unnecessary and very dark in the first place. I get it though. People have hypothetical situations. Why though are you so intent on making me choose between my kids? And why does it matter to you so much? Like, what would you want me to pick? And why does it matter? I feel like having those questions, that's what a therapist would ask you, right? If you were to go to therapy over this specific situation.
Yeah.
Or that's what a therapist would ask him. And I feel like these are the kinds of questions that people really need to just have a little bit of critical thinking about to be able to understand, because so many of the world's problems would be solved if people talked about things without judgment necessarily as well, which is also a really hard thing to do. Like in this situation, I'd be like, whoa.
You could forgive him having a momentary lapse in his entire judgment and sanity and asking that question, as long as he apologised for it and was like, no, that was a really bad thing and I understand now.
This is what I'm saying. And don't misconstrue it as me saying like, oh, we excuse this behaviour, it's fine. It's not fine. It's never fine to ask a question like that to your partner. But it could be coming from a place that he doesn't realise is problematic. So by being able to dig into that, what if it's coming from a place of trauma, which it likely is, right? Him being told from his parents that that's the only thing that matters. Him feeling like his only worth is in the value of his sperm and lineage, and therefore, you know, making him feel insecure, because that's where it's coming from.
Yeah, but I couldn't be bothered to wait for somebody to grow from that point of pestering with that question.
It's bizarre. Yeah. It's really bizarre. A week ago, says OP, he asked it again, but this time he'd already asked it 6 times in a day.
He's obsessed.
This is weird. This is weird.
Please don't have a child with this man.
Exactly. So this time, he'd been pestering me about it the whole day. I couldn't even speak before he told me to answer the question. If I asked him something, he said he would answer my question if I answered his.
Ugh.
Could you imagine? Would you like pie for dinner? Well, would you save my baby? Could you answer the door, please? Well, would you save my baby? How exhausting must that be? He said it's just a hypothetical and he would just like to know my answer just for fun.
No, he's just saying that to disarm you.
After this had been going on, I blurted out that I would rather save my son. He got stunned by my answer before he got mad at me. You know what? In this reality, I would say the same.
As a hypothetical, because...
your son exists.
Yeah,
right?
You can't possibly say that you would save a hypothetical child that doesn't exist over the child that you have grown to know and have loved for the past 7 years. You can't. You gave absolutely the right answer to a question that should never have been asked.
Oh, that was so poetic. I found that kind of arousing. That was so beautiful.
You're welcome.
I agree with you though. The best answer would have been I refuse, but I understand why after all of this time you're being pushed to give an answer, why you would say that. It's the most logical answer. If you had, you know, gone to a head, had to say something.
Yeah, he eroded your patience.
He's eroding my sanity. He got stunned by my answer. Oh, did he? Before he got mad at me. He said it was just a funny question and that he never expected me to put my own child in front of our child, that I was weird for answering it. You're weird for friggin' asking it.
This sounds like gaslighting, right? Because he's now turning it on you for being the weird one for answering such a question, but he's only doing that because you didn't answer in the way he wanted you to.
Yeah.
But you answered in the way that I think any typical person would.
I do think there are lots of people in these situations where people don't understand just how toxic communication can be. Imagine what his response would have been if the answer was, of course I'd save our son.
Yeah, he probably would have gushed.
You'd probably be taking each other's clothes off and doing it on the kitchen table. Like, seriously, think about what the outcome would have been in a sliding doors moment. And in those situations, it really helps to understand, are they mad at me for answering the question, or are they mad at me for not answering it the way that they would have expected?
Yeah.
This kind of thing really pisses me off though, Jamie. Like, it's so, ugh.
It boils my blood as well that OP's taken so long to write this, because she's felt
so manipulated into feeling like they're You're
awful human being.
Person. He's barely talked with me since then. I know I did wrong, but at the
You
same
didn't.
time, I was so tired of this being brought up so damn much. Was I the drama here?
Absolutely not.
No,
Absolutely
you weren't.
not. Like, literally, not even a smidge.
I also don't think that you were the drama for answering.
Yeah, I feel like OP refused for as long as they could possibly take it. Like 6 months of being asked multiple times in a day, and the day that she answered, she'd already been asked 6 times and answered on the 7th. When he would pester her for not just like a couple minutes, but for half an hour, she knew the question would come back up again. I'm gonna take a guess that he acted weird whenever she refused to answer it and got stroppy in some way.
Well, look, he's saying he would refuse to answer my question until I answered
so
his.
he was being
How annoying
childish.
is that?
It honestly makes so much sense that you finally gave an answer, and I feel like you lasted a lot longer than most people would have in these
Longer than
situations.
I would have done.
You've certainly lasted a lot longer in this relationship than I personally would have done, but I'm not judging you for that. I would just advise to consider your position.
I'm in total agreement with you. I also think the word funny is so fragile. I hate it when people say that. It's just a funny joke. Just trying to be funny.
Yeah.
It's just a funny question. No, it f***ing wasn't. Don't lie. If it was just a funny question, you would have been fine with any trivial answer. You wouldn't have gotten this stroppy about it.
Yeah. And just circling back to reiterate, again, you're not an awful person
No
for
way.
saying you would save the child that exists over the child that is still a hypothetical. I'm sure this question would have truly been impossible to answer had both kids been in existence.
1,000,000%.
But they're not. If somebody said, would you jump in a river to save Apollo the cat, who we have, or save the kitten that we get when we're 50 years old? Of course, like, I would say, I'm going to go save Apollo because he is a definite in this world. I know him. He's alive. He exists. I love him. I don't know this other cat yet.
You
And I know
can't
cats are
compare.
way more trivial than children.
But it is a really good exercise to do. I'm in total agreement with you. Putting it to another situation can really help you see sense in a way that's like less attached to your lens. I think that's a perfect
Yeah.
thing to do. If you'd said, meanwhile, Apollo or Prawn, which are 2 cats, I'd be like, why the f*** are you asking me such a weird question?
Well, I'd ask, why are you putting a situation where my cat dies even up against a
It's
hypothetical
just
cat?
so dark. Why
Yeah.
are you even like manifesting any kind of ill will towards a loved thing?
Yeah.
That's so bizarre.
Like, if you asked me to pick in this kind of situation, I would be like shutting that shit down. I'm not saying that OP hasn't, if I feel like her husband is incredibly persistent, but I would literally be like, do not ask me that again. That is an inappropriate question.
Yeah.
Why are you even thinking about children or cats or anybody dying?
It's more than a question though, isn't it? It's a value. And I do think, if I'm being very honest, I am judging OP a little bit, not at all for the answer, but for how long this has gone on for, because it's more than a question. It speaks to a value. It's them disrespecting your personal space and your thoughts. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just not a nice way to behave in a relationship of any kind.
Yeah, I agree.
So I do think it's bizarre that it has gone on for this long. You're obviously not in the wrong for it.
I also think when we hear about the 6 months happening in one little post, when it's spread across and there's probably interspersed with so many good, positive
Yeah,
times and lovely
you are so
conversations,
right.
it can like muddy that, and you forget that this stupid, horrible question keeps coming up again and again until it comes up.
Yeah.
And then you shut
Until
it down.
it's 6 months, and then you have this
Yeah.
epiphany moment of, oh my god, it's been 6
Yeah.
months of this. This is really bizarre. I totally agree with you. Sometimes it can be really hard when you're in it
Yeah.
to see it from that
I know
objective
we've
point
had
of view.
situations where people have treated us like absolute shit.
Like tradesmen, for example,
And,
where
yeah.
we've let things go on for way too long.
And when we describe it to other people, they're like, how did you let that happen? It's like, because 1, people are manipulative. 2, it doesn't feel as intense in the moment when it's spread out.
And you want it to be good. You keep
Yeah,
thinking each
yeah.
time it's so much easier to be like, okay, they'll drop it. Yeah, I've not answered. It will be the last time. It'll be
Yeah.
the last time. It'll be the last
Yeah.
time, until it's not. And then even though you feel stupid because it's been this accumulation, it's only right because you've seen it at that point.
Yeah.
Not throughout.
But honestly, what a weirdo.
Oh.
Like,
oh,
just know.
oh.
I want to know what other people have to say.
Yeah. Anybody not on OP's side is the husband. I'm convinced it is the
Yeah.
husband posting. Not the drama. What is this problem? In weird behaviour.
Yeah.
Not good weird.
Yeah, not good weird. It was a trick question. There was no right answer, but he's a walking red flag.
Smother him in ketchup and stick him on a pole.
Not the drama. He was playing a stupid game and hurt his own feelings.
What's that phrase? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes?
Yeah, you know the meme of the
that saying.
person riding the bike and they put a pole in the spokes and they fall off the bike and then they blame somebody? They're like,
Trans people made me fall off this bike.
and they did it to themselves. It's that kind of situation. You've not seen the meme. I think
No.
it would make sense if you had. Maybe Maddie can put it on the screen and then you'll see it. But this is actually totally unacceptable. Why are you tolerating this pest?
Pest is a great word.
Yeah, he is a cockroach. Stamp on him.
I was thinking more a gnat.
Oh. He needs to fly into one of those. He never should have asked something so dumb, but everyone says obnoxious things occasionally. The real issue is that he wouldn't stop when you asked him to stop.
Yes. Yes, that's what I'm
That's
saying.
worse than his current sulk fit. He's a loser, OP. Why are you with a petulant loser?
I am obsessed with this idea of loser behaviour.
Yeah.
Charithra said this. What was it about? Was it J.K. Rowling?
I think it was about J.K. Rowling. It was like this, like transphobia is like loser behaviour.
And then Pedro Pascal said something similar
Heinous
recently.
loser,
And I just think it's such a wonderful reclaiming of the term. Because as a society and as individual people within relationships, we give too much power willingly to these people who are causing hurt. Why do we give them permission to do that? It's not on us, right? It's the world that we live in. But why should they feel entitled to be able to say these things? Jamila Jamil said it again recently. With these weirdos who are deep faking X-rated things without permission on people's faces, why do we look at that and go, oh no, I'm so scared of this behaviour, and allow them that power? Why don't we reframe it to be like, this is loser behaviour? Why are you doing this? I'm concerned for you. I pity you. And I definitely think it comes from this huge issue of toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
And that's why loser is one of my favourite insults. Not the drama, but here's the thing. His brain is obsessed with that question, and I'd see that as a red flag. He would favour one child over the other. I wouldn't have a child with this man.
Yeah, me neither.
I do think this commenter has hit the nail on the head. Why are you so obsessed with that question?
Yeah, why is it even
It's
something that would come up?
Weird behaviour.
It's
really bad.
It's really
odd. Weird.
weird to hypothetically think of children dying.
It is.
And pose it as a competition and a test on your partner.
And then be mad at them for giving the only logical answer based on what's actually alive and existing. I too would not have a child with this man. Fun fact, that is the sound of typing in the word drama. Am I the drama for saying my best man can't bring his boyfriend to my wedding? Ooh.
You are if it's homophobic and it's not a general rule
Right,
for
if it's not a blanket
people
rule.
to bring their partners.
But also, if that boyfriend is a hot mess,
Oh yeah,
there
if you
can be
don't like
personal
him.
circumstances. It's just if it's coming from a
Yeah.
homophobic place, in my opinion. Let's see if we can help OP out.
I'm a 29-year-old man and I'm getting married in October to my fiance, a 27-year-old woman. Your nails match that plastic bag over there.
That's just the weirdest thing to say.
I just noticed. It's because you were doing this and I saw it up against. They're also kind of the same colour as the trans pub.
Together I serve trans flag. If only I were white. Then
Well, how dare you be brown?
it's the only time I've ever wished to not be brown. No, I don't wish to not be brown. I love being brown. You may now continue.
Okay. My best man is my best friend of 10 plus years, Caleb, a 30-year-old man.
Cute.
Caleb is gay and has been with his boyfriend Greg for about 6 months.
Greg.
Okay, 6
Greg
months.
and Caleb.
I feel like Greg is a dying name.
I just feel like they
It just
sound
makes
like
me think
biscuits.
of a sausage roll.
Oh, I like how we both went to food. I don't know why, but like Caleb and Greg just sound like the best biscuit company.
Caleb and Greg's biscuit.
I'd eat a Caleb and Greg.
Okay, good for you. I can see how 6 months is quite early to think of having someone's partner, so that's maybe where I think this is going. I wouldn't necessarily not invite them, but let's see where it goes.
Yeah, it's in that grey zone, isn't
Yeah.
it? If you'd said like a couple weeks.
It depends on how you're conducting your wedding, though.
6 months can be a long time.
Yeah, but say
see.
Caleb is going to be best man dutying, sitting in a different place to let other guests and stuff, and his boyfriend doesn't know anybody. Could be a bit awkward.
Yeah, I agree.
I really like Greg as a person, but I
Okay.
barely know him. I've only met him twice.
I'm not getting the homophobic vibes.
No, my fiance and I agreed early on that we wanted to keep the guest list small, about 80 people, and restrict plus ones to spouses, fiancés, or partners of at least a year. It's quite,
That's weird.
That's quite-
I'm sorry, that is really bizarre.
yeah.
I understand wanting to keep guest lists small. You can't say you must be married, engaged to be married, or with each other for this amount
like
of time.
Rob and Jack have been together for 12 months, so Jack can come. But Katie and Peter have only been together for 11 and a half months, so Peter can't come.
Or
It just feels a bit weird.
Greg and Caleb have popped off to Vegas and they're married despite only knowing each other for a couple of weeks, so they can come.
Yeah,
This
that-
other couple have been together for 11 months who you really, really like would not be able
Yeah,
to come.
or they
you
got-
can't set such an arbitrary rule. This is my question. When I'm seeing things this silly, I'm like, you had people in mind to set those boundaries.
Yeah.
So who are you trying to...
Exclude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where my head
And you
goes
know what
to.
you should turn
No.
it into? People you like and you get on with, and you think are nice people, have them. People you don't like, don't invite them.
Do you know them?
Yeah,
Do
what-
you want them at your wedding?
You could have like a second cousin who you kind of know and you'd want at your wedding, but she's been married for 7 years and you have no idea who the partner is. You've never met them, or you've spoken to them once.
Yeah.
You know them less than Greg. Bit weird.
It is very weird.
Okay. Do you know, if I were Caleb and Greg, I'd just say, well, we're engaged now.
Right? And then what are you going to do?
Yeah. We've applied this rule pretty strictly. My own cousin wasn't allowed to bring her new boyfriend of 4 months, even though she begged me.
Maybe that's who they were trying to like curtain out with this bizarre
Maybe.
rule. But then just be honest. Just be like, cousin, I don't know your boyfriend. This is a small wedding. We want intimate people there that we know and trust. If that same wording was used for Caleb about Greg, I get it. I've only met Greg a couple of times. I barely know who he is. This wedding is for intimate people who we love and trust and know are here to celebrate us, and we know that everybody gels well. Would you mind?
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about it, because a really big thing for me at our wedding, and it's why we allowed kids. Lots of people have kid-free weddings, but we were like, no, people could bring kids. But I think what was really important to us is that our guests, yes, were there to celebrate us, but also felt like comfortable and felt like they had someone and they had a good time. And so if you're forcing people to come alone, it really sets them off on like a disadvantage for being relaxed during the day.
Wedding politics can get so big. I think I'm finding it weird that Caleb, who's your best friend...
That you've only met his boyfriend of 6 months twice. Yeah.
I'm finding that a bit
Well,
odd.
I'm thinking we have a close friend who's in a newer relationship, and we've met his new partner within
number
6
of
months more than twice, even though we don't live super close.
And I would be inviting that person to...
If we were getting married now, I'd invite them.
I wouldn't mind if they were a +1.
Yeah.
Like, you know, within 6 months if they're like going to be good energy, bad energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. One thing that I will say though is Caleb, who is your best friend of 10 plus years, doesn't need Greg, because your best friend will absolutely know other people. Your best man will absolutely not feel out of place not having his Caleb there.
Yeah, that is very true.
So within the context, I do think I agree with you. It is important, and that's why we made the decision with kids, for example.
Yeah.
Or we've known in previous weddings where we've been separated and not felt fantastic about that we didn't want to impose that on other people. But this, I do think, is a different situation because Caleb will feel comfortable.
Yeah, that's fair. But I think there needs to be more than just this arbitrary. They need to be married, fiancéed, or together for at least a year.
It's interesting. I am seeing this as a proper grey area. I'm glad we're talking about this one and exploring it because there's a lot to unpack.
When Caleb asked if Greg was invited, I told him no. He's welcome to attend solo or bring another close friend. But our rule applies to everyone. But what does that mean? Another close friend that you would have already invited? Or you're saying that Caleb can bring one of his own close friends that you don't
bizarre,
know? That's so strange.
Don't know them at all.
I find that really odd because surely if it's a close enough friend in your circle, you would be inviting them to your wedding anyway.
So what is the reason? If you're wanting to keep the guest list small, why allow another stranger?
Yeah, that feels weird.
There's
something else going on.
You either don't like Greg or you're really good at masking and you are homophobic.
Yeah, you're okay when it's not in your face. Like, you're okay just seeing Caleb on his own knowing he's gay, but you don't want to see him actually with a man.
This is bizarre.
Yeah.
This is really bizarre.
It is bizarre.
My sniff detector is seeing poo.
Oh.
I call bullshit. Let's see what else he has to say. I am suspicious.
Caleb was quiet at first, but then called me later saying he felt singled out and that I was treating his relationship as less valid because it's gay. I told him this is about the time they've been together, not who he's with. See, the thing is, I wouldn't even have a doubt in my mind that any of our close friends could be a bit transphobic.
So you're saying if someone is
So I'm saying if you're
there's a
questioning that about your best friend of over 10 years, you've surely had partners before. Maybe Caleb has reason to feel this way.
Well, I mean, it's kind of clear to me that it must be something to do with your relationship that's more personal, specifically from the line of you can bring a close friend.
Yeah.
But not your partner. Who the frick says that? To their wedding.
Yeah.
If it's not a friend that you're already inviting and you're wanting it to be a small wedding, how else do you fling that cat? Isn't that the phrase?
What if... No, I've never heard of that.
How else do you
No,
peddle that?
it made sense. I've just never heard of it before. But like, Caleb could be like, right, my close friend is Greg. And what if the close friend he's had is John, who he's known for 3 months, but they just get on really well? Stupid.
Oh, but it's okay because they're not a spouse or fiance or a partner of at least a year. So they
Second
circumnavigate this ridiculous rule. I'm getting pissed at OP.
I told him this is about the time they've been together, not who he's with, and that it would be unfair to others if I made an exception. He is your best man. You can make exceptions for close.
Absolutely. But I wonder if maybe the place this is coming from is they were like, oh, I really hate my cousin's annoying boyfriend. They've been together 4 months. I know he's not going to be here in our lives forever. We need to make some arbitrary rule. Uh-oh, now Caleb's in it. It's fine. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you know what I find a bit silly? Honestly, how many people have short-term partners in your life? I hardly imagine they have like 20 friends where all of them are in new relationships of less than a year. I think you're absolutely right that this is specifically to exclude somebody but not seem like they're excluding one particular partner
and
of somebody.
Someone else is just caught in collateral
and other
damage.
people are caught in collateral.
Or they're a homophobic piece of shit.
Yeah, because we got married when we were 28, so around the same age as these people. Think about all whole of our friendship circle and family, very, very, very few were in newer relationships.
I will say as well, and this is maybe a bit of a sideline and a PSA, I think we need to take away the pressure for weddings in particular to be timeless. There is so much pressure to get a wedding right based on society, not based on us, based on what conventions tell us we should want from a wedding. And that's often what makes them really freaking expensive, really freaking stressful, and take away from the point that wedding is just supposed to be you guys having a good ass time, celebrating with the people that you love because you found that person that you really, really enjoy being with. It is as simple as that.
Do you know what you do? If you don't want to pay for the meal, right? If you're budgeting and you're like, oh, there's like 5 new partners, have them for the evening because it shows like it's almost like a gesture of goodwill. And also, you won't even notice they're there or not. Like literally, you won't notice because there's so many people. The day is so busy.
You're going to be so busy. Yeah.
And just because Greg comes doesn't mean he needs to be in the photos with the close group, like the best men and the groomsmen people. It's not saved in a photograph.
And the reason I bring up this timelessness expectation is from things like dresses and like the outfits that you wear. You're always so concerned. Like I was like, yeah, I'm going to have pink hair for my wedding. Who cares if I'm a 60, 70-year-old, whatever, looking back and being like, oh God, look at that time that I had pink hair. In the moment, I loved it. And your mum really helped me with that, you know. I saw her wedding photo and she had feathers in her bouquet. And I was like, that's so badass. That is so iconic. Like now, the idea of that would be laughable
and
in
these were
general society.
Big, white, fluffy, like big feathers.
But like, it was so 70s.
Yeah.
It was so cool. It was so of its time. And sometimes I think back about it too, because we had an engagement party. It was this whole thing. It ended up being on Channel 4. It was rather unique. But there are people who came to that party who we don't speak with now.
Yeah. And at the wedding.
And at the wedding. And when I look back at those photos, I don't think, oh my gosh, that's so tainted. I think it's really bizarre sometimes when you think, oh, but will this person be in my life forever? Your cake supplier isn't going to be, and we're still chummy with her. I love her. She's got such great memories for me. Do you know what I mean?
More cake.
I love the idea of getting more cake, little anniversary cake from her. And even still, it could be that you're not friends with Caleb forever. These people who are in your life for a really long time may not always be there. So if you are going through this process, try to not let this sense of timelessness stress you out more than is necessary. It's a day. But I also don't think that's where it's coming from. My gut is telling me there's a fish.
Yeah.
I mean, it smells fishy.
My gut is telling me there's a fish. No, that's great. I think we should keep that. Caleb now says he's considering stepping down as best man if Greg can't come. My fiance thinks I was right to stick to the rule, but my mum thinks I should have bent it to avoid making Caleb feel excluded or slighted. I don't think I'm the drama for wanting consistent rules, but I also don't want to alienate one of my closest friends. So am I the drama?
Yeah, you're the drama.
You are.
You are absolutely the drama.
And I think the thing is, you can have whoever you want at your wedding. It is your choice, but you are going to cause drama when you do things like this to like your best friend, not allowing them to have their partner. It just feels a
especially
little
when it's
weird.
Such an arbitrary rule, and especially when your best friend has opened up to you and been so vulnerable and said, I'm feeling like this is because I'm gay.
Yeah.
And you're going, but I need to stick to this ridiculous rule that I've made. Do you know what it's giving? It's giving that employer from Starbucks who gets the text from their employees saying, I can't come in today because I'm having to put my dog down. And they're like, cool, well, if you don't come in, you're fired. Like, where is the humanity?
Yeah.
Why are you sticking so much to a rule, forgetting that people exist?
Yeah, I would just question why it's so important to you. The only other example, I think if OP had said, we want 80 people, but just because of our particular network and the age of people and their relationship status, if we were to invite every new relationship as a +1, we would have to stretch that to 100. I could kind of understand why you've decided to just do that so that you like, this is how we stick to 80. But you could absolutely make an exception for your best man. You can. For the wedding party, you can make exceptions, but also the only other person that OP has mentioned as an example is the cousin's boyfriend. I feel like if there were more, OP would have said, and there's about 5 people who are new.
My gut is telling me that it's more about the cousin than it is about being homophobic, because we also need to think, you know that Caleb is gay. Caleb is still your best friend.
Yeah.
What is going on? I do, though, have one other question I'm itching to ask. Sometimes I wish that we could like be in therapy sessions and talk to these people, because my other question is, are there other gay relationships at the wedding? Is there a Bob and a Dave who have been married for 20 years? Do you have a problem with them?
Is it not that OP is homophobic but doesn't want the judgment from certain family members that his best man is gay?
Who knows? That's something that OP needs to figure out. But I do think that this sticking to a rule thing is really bizarre, and something fishy is going on that you're not being honest about.
When rules are so weird and arbitrary, like it's impossible to stick to them without hurting multiple people, and sometimes including yourself.
That happens when rules are made on the basis of a lie, because you are too afraid to tell your truth to perhaps your cousin cousin of I don't like your boyfriend. He's not going to be a permanent place in my life. He has no place at my wedding. Move on. Or you're right, you know, Aunt Bertha is horribly homophobic, and perhaps I'm not being honest with myself in feeling like that's a reason, which is why I'm being really stupid. Of course it's a dumb thing to say that you can bring a friend but not your partner when I'm saying I want an intimate wedding.
You're risking losing your best man over some weird rule.
And your best friend.
Yes, because this will impact the friendship. Because now he's got it in his head that he's worried that you're
it's a gay
homophobic.
thing.
That doesn't just come out of nowhere. It doesn't. I would never think that about any of my friends, especially the ones I've known for 10 years.
Sad. I really hope that they're able to fix this. What the f***? He can attend solo or bring a friend, but not his boyfriend. Is this a joke?
Yeah, I think we've not pushed enough. I know we've talked about it, but that friend point is so weird.
That's the crux of my confusion.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's the crux of my fish.
Well, I think that's what's making me feel like it could be to do with Caleb being gay. Because it's like, oh, you could bring somebody else who's just a friend. You're the drama, bring a friend but not his boyfriend, get a grip.
You're the drama, he can bring a friend but not a partner. Clearly it's all about numbers. It's your day, do as you wish, but you are the drama.
You are the drama, so Caleb is welcome to bring another close friend but not his boyfriend. What difference does that make? It's a +1 no matter who it is. Some friend you are.
There are so many of these. He can bring a close friend but not a boyfriend. The logic is not computing. This isn't about numbers. You just don't want a gay couple at your wedding.
That is the vibe. Like, I'm trying to think, because we're a mixed race couple, if somebody said, oh, Jamie, you can come, but you can't bring a partner because we're trying to keep numbers down, but then kind of vaguely named, oh, but you can bring one of your friendship group of these people and they were all white, I would be like, are you racist?
To say that it's about relationships who have been together just under 14 years, because I'm too cowardly to say that my family's racist.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really could be that.
Yeah.
Another drama.
If you bent the rule for him, you'd have to explain it to everyone else you said no to. This isn't about his relationship, it's about consistency.
And this is the person...
This is a wedding purist.
This is a Starbucks employer where I'm like, you have just lost all sense of humanity. Where is your heart? Are you the Grinch?
Before it grew.
Free Cindy Lou Who. If it were just about numbers, saying no is fine, as that's the rule you have, but allowing him to bring a friend f the numbers up and makes zero sense, making you the drama. Agreed. Has OP responded to this? No. Well, there you go. That was a really interesting one to explore.
That was.
I feel like I've grown in my mindset and thought new things out.
Yeah, your head does look bigger.
1-800. Alright, the final submission today is from a fellow Peach. If you didn't already know, we have a subreddit. It's r/1-800-drama, where you can post your own drama submission and you can also help other Peaches out, which I love because we don't always have time to cover every single one on the podcast. So should we see if we can help this Peach out?
Yeah.
Oh, Peach.
Will I be the drama? You love a will I be the drama?
I do.
If I got my son the chickenpox vaccine without his dad's consent.
Ooh.
I am very pro-vaccine, so...
I have so many questions. This is such an interesting one. Is dad an anti-vaxxer? Is that okay? Like, at what point? Like, should you ever go off co-parenting for what you consider the best interest for the child?
Scientifically, medically, morally, vaccinating is what you should do.
But chickenpox.
Yeah, there's been rises of various diseases among children in the past few years since COVID, because that's when this big anti-vaxxer conspiracy really kicked up.
I just need to confirm. I don't think I'd have to say this, but I am just confirming I am not an anti-vaxxer. I believe in the power of medicine. I believe in modern medicine. I do think vaccines are great. I have a question about chickenpox. This is something I'm not fully informed about. I feel like I've seen something in the news about it recently, about there being a vaccination. But for me, and maybe this post will explain it, I think there could be a difference with chickenpox, because I know there's this big thing about allowing kids to get chickenpox when they're younger.
That's just because it's bad when they're older, but if they're
And
vaccinated,
I know,
they
because
won't
I had
get
it
it.
older and it was horrifying.
Yeah, but if they're vaccinated, they won't get it.
Oh, really? Is
Yeah.
that how it works?
Yeah, it won't just be like for their childhood and then they could get it as an adult. It will vaccinate them. It's like the MMR, measles,
yeah,
mumps,
but
and
like,
rubella.
you don't want that once,
Yeah.
right? Like, that's not good. Whereas like chickenpox, I think it's relatively harmless when you're younger and gives you good durability. Though it is a myth to say that you can only get chickenpox once. I was shook to hear that.
Yeah, I'm all for if there's a vaccine that has been trialed
works
and
and tried
tested and
and
it works, why would you not protect your child? Like, who wants to see their little baby covered in spots and unwell?
I don't know enough about it. Well, my little sister Zahra, when she had chickenpox, she barely noticed. There was like 1 or 2 tiny red dots on her little legs, her chubby little calves. That was it. And I was like, that's amazing.
Did
I'm
you
so
catch
happy
it
for
from
you.
her?
Yes, we all got it together. And I was like an older teen at that point.
Yeah.
And it was rough, like so bad.
No.
No, I'm being deadly
No,
serious.
I
Like,
know.
I find it so bizarre. I think it's one of the weirdest things that we have as a society to have chicken pox parties, but I'm all for that. I'd take my little squish, I'd stick them right in the middle of the chicken pox, I'd be like, la, 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 you get it right now, because you do not want the older experience.
I'd get them vaccinated.
If there is a vaccine.
Yeah.
But I didn't think there was. That's what I'm saying. I think in the news it may be a relatively newish thing. I don't know. I could be talking out my
Smallpox
ass.
vaccine was newish at some point.
Please do Google that. Do not rely on what this stranger on the internet is saying. Should we see what he actually has to say?
Take it away.
My son, says O'Peach, is 2 and starting nursery in a couple of months. My partner, his dad, and I are both pro-vaccine, and
Right.
he has all his standard vaccines to date.
Okay.
I am keen to get the chickenpox vaccine privately. It's currently not available on the NHS, but is being rolled out for babies at some point in the next couple of years. This is what
new.
I was talking about.
Yeah.
It's currently in the routine vaccine schedule in lots of other countries, but the only UK option is to pay £150 privately, £75 per dose, and it's 2 doses.
Mm-hmm.
This is like a side thing as well, but have you seen little babies getting vaccines?
Oh, and they need to be like distracted, and then the doctor goes boom, and then they're like,
They're so sad, and I can't. When we
I'm
have
gonna
a
have
little
to take
baby,
them.
I am going to be bawling in so much tears because I have a needle phobia as it is, and I'm just going to be like so sad. I'll be like crying.
don't instill the
at the
phobia
baby,
in
right?
them.
Like before, this is how trauma happens. I see it.
Yes, you're scared because your mum probably
Yeah.
wailed whilst you got
I
vaccine.
saw my mum run out of a GP practice when she was getting a vaccine, and you know what I did then as a child?
Hid.
I hid in a cabinet. So and my mum likes to tell my part of the story. She goes, "Oh, haha, Jamie, Shaaba hid in a cabinet."
Yeah, I
'cause
didn't know
doesn't
she ran
say
out.
that she ran out of the room. Sorry, mum. Love you, mum.
Brilliant.
She's great with vaccines now. I don't see why we wouldn't get it, says O'Peach. We're able to afford it, and I figure that a couple of injections is preferable to even a mild chickenpox infection. It also prevents shingles in adulthood.
Right.
Shingles, such a good word. Shingles. It's such a lovely word for something that's so not nice.
Yeah.
Shingles.
Stop it.
Stop it. Shut up.
That's just shut up.
Oh, yeah. Man, you cut that one out. Okay.
No, you have to keep that. Please
Okay,
keep.
fine. My partner thinks if it was really necessary, it would be on the NHS, and thinks that it's putting him through the stress of 2 jabs for what will probably be a mild infection and just a few days of discomfort. He's right that it most likely would be mild, but chickenpox can be really nasty and last weeks in some cases. If we can prevent that, why wouldn't we?
I'm agreeing with OP about their stance. Like, just because something isn't available for free yet, doesn't mean it's not a sensible thing to do.
I entirely agree with you. I think this line of, but it's not available on the NHS, unless it's a financial thing, shouldn't really be in consideration.
Yes.
Because this is not me like tinfoil hat conspiracy theorying. There is a lot of politics in what is available and isn't available. It is hugely to do with capitalism and, you know, like what money is being made. And we in the UK with the NHS, whilst I love the NHS, I think it's wonderful. I'm a huge supporter of it.
Yeah.
I don't think it should go at all. I do think that having a free healthcare service does also mean that you do not always get access to the best of what's available. A
Yeah.
privatized market, which we see in America, is deeply flawed and not at all good.
But if you have
I
the
much prefer
money-
having the NHS. What it does give you, though, is an insight into what different options are available.
Yeah.
And that is how the two systems differ. Sometimes what's on the NHS is not always what is best for you. It's what's best for the country's political party at the time.
I completely agree with you on everything, and I've heard that before of like certain treatments for certain diseases. If you were to go privately, you would get given like 5 options instead of 2, and 2 of those options out of the 5 would be significantly more effective than the 2 that you'd be offered on the NHS.
Testosterone
So-
is another perfect example. HRT treatment,
Yeah.
menopausal treatment works so much better with other suppliers, but that are too pricey for the NHS. And therefore, what the
Yeah.
NHS gives you is fine, it's good, it does its job.
But it's not the best you could get.
Sometimes it does it with more side effects than
Yeah.
other medication that could be better for you personally, but by having a personal system, we don't get that choice.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it's good to question like the powers that be and not just be like, oh well, because it's not on the NHS, it's not worth it. That's a very like tunnel vision view.
Yes, it works in an idealistic world where
The NHS does
is
everything right.
absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that is not the case. And I do just want to say again, big
Love it.
supporter of the NHS.
Yes.
Not saying the NHS is bad. I love the fact that it exists. And on that, I also think it's really unfair that therefore the choice of being able to do this is dependent on privilege.
Yeah.
However, in this capitalist system that we work in, if you have the means to do that, I would do this.
And it's for the time being. It's going to be rolled rolled out at some point in the next couple of years. So does that mean if they'd had a child 5 years later, then OP's partner would have been fine with it?
We are both on the same page. I
Yeah.
think we're both agreeing with the stance of OPeach here.
But
My
that's not the
question
question. Yeah.
If one of us didn't, would you go behind the other's back? Should we finish OPeach's
Yeah,
point?
we should.
I'm thinking, says OPeach, of just taking him. My partner would find out, our son would likely tell him, and of course it would be on his medical record, so it would be a case of asking for forgiveness rather than permission. Would I be the drama? I don't want to break my partner's trust, but also I don't want my son to be unwell with something that I could have prevented. There's been a lot of activity on this. We have 130 comments from the Peaches.
Oh. Honestly, if your partner had been an anti-vaxxer and this was just for like all of the standard vaccines that are very well known to quite commonly be detrimental to a child's health and can impact them into adulthood, I would say just do it. But I also personally would be, if I'm pro-vaccine, I don't want to have a child with an anti-vaxxer.
I was going to say, being an anti-vaxxer is more than just being an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah.
The values that lead to someone believing in anti-vax things, I would be really surprised that that doesn't sort of impact other aspects of life.
Yeah, but clearly that's not where you're coming from here.
No. I have a badge.
I actually don't. I don't know. I really don't know.
You don't
But,
know?
Yeah, because
I have a badge.
I'm strong on my conviction, but I know what I would do in our relationship.
Okay, I want you to say your badge when I say my badge. I'm so intrigued as to whether they're going to be the same.
Oh, but I'm debating between two. Huh?
Just middle badge. Ready?
It's so reluctant.
1, 2, 3. You would be the drama.
Sucks here.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think you would be the drama.
I think it's drama all round. I think he's being the drama for not opting for something that you can financially afford. Even if it just saves him from a mild infection for a few days, I agree with OP that the 2 jabs are nicer than that. I would absolutely be going for this if we had a child right now, and I would really be questioning you if you were saying you didn't want it. However, I would not go behind your back to do it.
What was your other badge? What were the 2 that you were deciding between?
It was everyone sucks here or no drama here because it's not happened yet.
Would you be the drama? So you have to
Yeah.
put it on.
Okay,
it happening.
it was, yeah, a little bit of me wanted to do no drama here because one of them is just like, I don't think it's necessary, and I can see that because like chickenpox very rarely impacts people in the way that something like measles or mumps would, and one of them is just like, but if there's something we can do to protect our kid to the fullest, I want to do it. So I kind of see where both of them are coming from, but at the same time, no, I would definitely be more on the side of OP in this situation. However, would absolutely be the drama if you got your son vaccinated like that behind your partner's back.
So you're saying,
Everybody sucks still. I think they're both drama.
okay, I'm sticking with my badge of you would be the drama because, and it's interesting, I feel like we're coming at this from really different perspectives. Your lens has focused on the vaccine. For me, my lens is focusing on the co-parenting.
Right.
Maybe I'm wrong for this. I think it's arbitrary. I think because it's something as what I consider from my limited knowledge, so do bear that in mind, as being quite a mild, low risk thing. People get chickenpox all the time. Kids in particular get chickenpox all the time. And as you said, it will likely just be a mild infection and maybe a few days of discomfort. That's what I'm saying. Like when me and my 3 sisters had it simultaneously, I was the only person to have any genuine discomfort. My youngest 2 sisters didn't feel it at all. And therefore a baby, you know, like a probability, they're really not going to be very
I was
comfortable.
3. I wasn't like really unwell, but I was covered and I had to stay in bed for several days and I wasn't well. It wasn't dangerous, but
I'm clearly being very, you know, skewed by what
Yeah.
I've seen, and it could be that my sisters were just particularly resilient.
I do remember like snippets of like the red dots and being itchy and just being in bed and my mum having to take my temperature and do like little
Aw.
like look up, like, you know,
You're
I
a
was
little baby
sick.
Jamie.
Yeah.
Do you have a little chickenpox scar?
I do actually. I
like
have
you-
one here.
Yeah.
It's like a little white indent.
Yeah. My point is, I think it's quite low risk. Whether it be having chickenpox or feeling iffy from an injection, this isn't something that I would feel warrants breaking that rule of co-parenting. That's
I
where
do
it's coming
agree
from
with
for
you.
me. I think if this was something massive, like
MMR.
or
COVID.
yes.
Tuberculosis.
There was one, yeah, the TB jab, thank you, because that's the one that specifically sort of like popped in this anti-vax trend.
Really?
I'm pretty sure, and now there's like a lot of cases of things coming back. Yeah, if it was for something that could genuinely endanger our child's life and put our child's safety at risk, I would consider it. However, because it's chickenpox, I don't think that is grave enough. Do you see what I mean? A risk enough to warrant you doing something as grave as making a medical decision behind your partner's back. I do think that that's actually a really big thing to do. I can see why you're putting it here on a forum to ask. I can understand where your turmoil is coming from, but I would be really distrusting of you as a partner if you did it for something this small. I think there's so much involved in it. But I do think the nuances of this one is important because the husband's not an anti-vaxxer and he's not necessarily against the vaccine. And whilst I can be like, I do think you're a little bit distrusting just because it's not on the NHS, I also understand that where it's coming from is not a place that would harm the child. It's actually coming from a place of, hang on, but it's not been around for a while. And if that's the case and that's where your hesitancies are, I would respect that. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do see what you're saying, but I still think it warrants OP's partner getting a bit of a drama badge as well. That's why I went for Everybody Sucks here, because I agree with you that it's not an important enough thing, like a serious enough matter to break your partner's trust. But I also think that it's not a bigger deal enough, especially if they can financially afford it, to just not do it. It's confusing me a bit why he's so reluctant. I wouldn't be reluctant, and if I were OP in that situation, I would eventually accept it and be like, okay, because we need to make these parenting decisions together. But I would also say, but you are taking my autonomy as a parent away as well. We're not co-parenting right now because we're disagreeing on something quite important.
Disagreements happen though.
It does happen.
It's interesting. I feel like you're seeing it maybe a bit more like black and white than I am. You're like, well, if OP chooses the drama for doing it, then that means that this baby is not getting the jabs. Whereas for me, that means it's an ongoing discussion of, no, don't do that. Do the research together. Go into your GP practice and have a conversation about this jab. Like, for me, the next step, as with a lot of these things, it's not about the badge, it's about the advice. And what I would suggest doing in this situation is definitely understanding a bit more where your partner is coming from. Because I think it's really healthy that both of you are wanting what is best for the child, right?
Yeah.
You're just seeing different ways of how that's happening. And we all have different life experiences that lead us to do this. Who knows? Maybe the partner is POC and therefore has, you know, a huge distrust towards medical bodies, which could be an additional complexity that OP is just not understanding. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's something entirely different. Maybe it is just because the news and the fact that we have an NHS system feels trusting. In which case, maybe understanding what we understand about things like we were just talking about beforehand, testosterone, HRT for treating menopause, that sort of thing, is not always best just because it's NHS. And maybe then he would have a different point of view. But I do think having a conversation is the end point here, not just giving in to one or the other. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, so each other understands why they want to go down that route, and then they both decide, okay, yes, we will stick with this.
Yeah, and I do love it, honestly, when we have different badges in this way, because it restores my faith in remembering there is nuance in the world. We can have different badges. I respect yours. I'm assuming you respect mine.
Yeah.
And it's okay to think different things. There's not always one correct answer. Whatever you decide though, Peach, best of luck. I'm really interested to hear an update. If you would like to update us, please do. We see what other people have to say. I'm intrigued. I don't know where the Peaches will lie on this one.
Firstly, I'm not UK based, so take my opinion with a grain of salt. However, I don't understand how your partner could be pro-vaccination but question the chickenpox vaccine of all things. Def talk to them, but their reasoning is lacking in research, and I'd question their motive. That's exactly what I would be doing. And I'd also just say, like, it prevents shingles in adulthood as well. It's not just chickenpox.
You're right.
But also,
I would do
like,
it.
Yeah. Oh, no. We would both do it. I'm sure if you could have been vaccinated against chickenpox as a child, you'd have gone, oh, that would have been great, because you would have saved that time as a kid, like as a teenager, not feeling well. But you also have scars from chickenpox, as do a lot of people.
I have a lot of scars from chickenpox.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And
I
you
would have
had
really
to have
appreciated
further
that.
treatment for one of them.
Yeah, and on top of that, I would, oh my God, yes. I made a video about it. Like, I had a keloid scar on my ear that I had to have years of steroid injections for and surgery, and then more steroid injections, and I still live with the risk of it coming back, which is really frustrating. And I missed out on my first concert. I was supposed to see Paramore and Four on the Beach, and I didn't go to either because I had chickenpox over that time.
So,
trauma.
I'm just saying, you are a prime example of how it's not always just a 3-year-old in bed for a day, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I do agree, though. I'm not sure I would go as far as this Peach is saying I'd question their motive, but I do think it's coming from a lack of research. I understand. I get it. When you've lived with like an NHS body being like, well, if it's not here, why would I trust it? I get that, but sometimes we do need to question the system, whilst also supporting the NHS. OP's actually responded to
OP
this.
has actually responded. I think because he and everyone he knows who's had it so mildly that he doesn't think it's something to worry about, and that the stress and upset of the injections isn't worth it to prevent just a few days of feeling unwell. I will just say, I don't remember any of my vaccines, but I do remember having chickenpox. Our son does really hate injections, and my partner doesn't like seeing him so upset, understandably.
That would be me.
In the UK, there's a standard vaccine schedule at 8, 12, 16 weeks and 12 months. Chickenpox isn't included yet, And I think my partner is taking that to mean it's not really essential. I'll have another chat with him about how serious chickenpox can be before deciding to do anything. But I'm really glad that we've had that update.
Oh,
I think that's so sensible.
I love it. I love it. It restores my faith because I love this community so much.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a good value level there.
I feel like if Poppy's partner can understand how serious it can be, especially if you get it when you're older, and then also preventing shingles in adulthood, which is great.
It's a big deal. That is a very big
Yeah,
deal.
it's just a couple of injections. Even the most mild could save your kid from having like permanent scars.
I feel you, OP's partner. We spoke about this beforehand.
Yeah.
Before we even knew the context of this post, I will hate that moment. It would never stop me from not vaccinating my child. There was too many double negatives, but that means that I would still want my kid to have the vaccine.
Even though you would be upset.
Of course.
Do you still want to be in the room?
Yeah, because I want to be there for them, but it's going to be really hard.
You know what you should do? Because often I see like one parent holds and one parent is there visually.
If I'm blubbing, it's
You
going to be in a way that the
should
kid is not going to see because
You
I'm going to do
should-
my best to not instill that
You
trauma.
should hold our baby
And be
and
like-
I will comfort them because I'll be like making faces and I won't like it obviously, but I know I won't cry.
And like the one
Or
off
I
is
think
fine.
I won't cry.
It's when they have to have multiple as well. They do get really
And then they
upset.
know because the first one hurt.
Yeah.
And then when the second one.
Ignorance is bliss. And it's like our cat. We have a one cat, Apollo. He's so bad
Oh,
with
he was fine
injections.
with his first one when he was a kid, and every single one since he's had
He
to.
knows. He's a clever little
Yeah.
bean. And he knows. And this one vet was like, it's fine. He'll be okay. And I was like, no, he's really bad with injections. And then she ended up in the kerfuffle injecting herself. Like the needle went into her skin instead. And she got so mad at Apollo. And then they had to get other vets like hold him down whilst they gave him his
He's
jab.
better now though.
I think she was a bad vet. To be
Yeah,
fair,
I don't
because-
think she. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
I wouldn't give my kid that jab. Chickenpox is a childhood rite of passage that confers lifetime immunity in most cases. Jabs wear off, and getting chickenpox as an adult is no bueno. Has this person done research? Like, does it wear off?
all I would say is be fully informed. We are talking as a community of people. If this is the case, that's obviously something that you would want to look into. However, I will also say chickenpox does not confer lifetime immunity. You can get chickenpox multiple times, and you've said most cases, and it could be that the jab has the same level.
Yeah.
Who knows? This is something we would need to do more research on.
Yeah.
Think critically, friends. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm not saying it's right. Tell your partner either you take him for the vaccine or your partner can solo care when he gets the pox.
I don't necessarily agree with this.
I think
it's a bit of a funny
take.
comment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, there's an update from OP.
An update.
Oh, I said I wanted an update. Oh.
First dose is booked.
Oh.
We had a really good chat tonight, and I
Oh.
read him some of your comments with your experiences of chickenpox and shingles, and I got his okay to book it.
My heart is so full right now.
Yeah, your boob just got bigger.
I love this. I love it so much. Faith in humanity restored. Isn't this a prime example of how good communication can
Very cute.
lead to good co-parenting?
Thanks all for your support. I also didn't feel comfortable going behind his back, but this gave me the prod to really push for it. This article in particular shocked him and really drove home how serious it can be. I've lost the comment which shared this, but if you read this update, thanks again.
And just in case anybody's interested, the article is BBC's Why Don't Some Countries Vaccinate Against Chickenpox?
Yeah, I will read that.
Oh, I'm so happy right now.
That's such a
My
lovely
heart is
way
so
to end the
full.
podcast.
podcast.
Such a great way to end the podcast.
I'm feeling so full. I'm so happy.
I need lunch.
Stop it. Thank you for joining us on today's episode. I think this might have been one of my favourite episodes yet.
It was very cute.
Yeah. Thank you, Peach. And if you enjoyed this episode, please do give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you would like to see more. Also, I understand that YouTube has a hype function now for channels that are smaller, which this one is, like under 500k. You can now, as a viewer, use hype points. You get a certain amount. I think you do like up to 3 videos within a certain time period. So if you really enjoyed this video, you can do that, which means that we can get more Peaches discovering this gorgeous little podcast. And so I'd really appreciate it if you could. That would be amazing.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this on a podcast platform, you can give it a rating, so please do that because it really helps us out.
You did rating, but you showed a thumbs up.
Yeah, but it's also a thumbs up.
It's 5 stars. You can do it up to 5 stars. So you should do a little star symbol.
Give
you
us-
can do a rating.
Give us a rating.
Thank you again for joining us, my loves. We'll catch you next time with another episode. Be kind
Much love.
and have a great day.
Bye.
Bye. I love this one.